A note on exam. This is a good film that I enjoyed very much when I first saw it, um, maybe a couple of years ago. And I looked at it yesterday, and it was still enjoyable, which is not extraordinary, but it is an indication for me that the film is worth it. Very often, and I think it generally happens when you see a film a second time, not to mention a third time, you see flaws, holes in the script, and you may not like it so much. But this was an interesting challenge. Plus, I'm thinking it takes charge, maybe a bit too much to say, but it takes an interest in a few domains. It is about an exam, it is about an extreme situation, it can even be seen as a crime story at one point, because at one point, the climax, people get violent and there's criminal activity, so to say, involved in a hall where an exam takes place. So first of all, we have a man who says, well, this is the exam, you want this job, and you have to find a question and answer it. If you try and talk to me, you're disqualified, eliminated. If you try to talk to the guard, there's a guard at the entrance, again, you're finished, through. Not in these words, but words to this effect. And there was a series of, if you spoil your paper, you're through again. Go on, you have, what was it, 170 minutes? Anyway, a limited time, and we get into the plot. They're suspicious of each other, there are about 10 in the room. We later learn that this is a company with a lot of achievements and a job that many want, so in a way it makes sense to have these restrictions to look at the challenge as normal up to a point. But then they try and start to be creative. Well, he said, don't talk with me or the guy, but we can talk with each other. And then it's brain brainstorming activity, a team exercise, team building exercise, up to a point where, for instance, one is spoiling the paper of another and eliminating her. It is a her. She's a woman, and well, we're competing in the end. So it's not a game of cat and mouse, but it's competition, cutthroat at one point. It's also an exercise in trying to work together. Let's see about the light, maybe infrared we see on the paper. What about this guy? There's a guy in front. You'll learn only at the end. If you look, I will not use any spoilers. I will not say what happens at the end. Where it is a bit, on second take, I thought it's a bit forced. But it has so much, though. It's thrilling, gripping, but also meditation on what happens today. Google has challenging exams, so to say, to get into the company, after which there's so many perks. A cafeteria, you can bring in the children, daycare, you can bring the pets, you can do whatever you want. You can, I don't know if surf, but play and generous pay and so on. It's competition, of course, for talent at higher echelons. And I'm not saying they do what happens in exam, but it's a tough competition, it's a challenge. And then, indeed, what companies do, because we look at what this company is doing. First of all, in this exam, which is taken to an extreme, and then they can also be taken into account for allowing what happens, because, as I said, there's violence. And one thinks, okay, so the candidates are so desperate to get this job that they're willing to do whatever. But what about the company? Why do they? This is happening in their exam room. So, as I said, it's so thought-provoking, and one is encouraged to meditate on a variety of subjects. Multinationals, what do they do? Is it fair? What about this competition? And do they have any positive psychology to think about? And so on and so on.